is episode 5 of Quarantine Talk. It's a show where people around the world come together to discuss the latest of world developments. This week, our topic is conspiracy theories, featuring speakers from Spain, Taiwan, Singapore, and Indonesia. The following show, recorded on 25th of April, is a bit more conversational and lighthearted than our usual fare. But our intent is still to be informative amidst offering some entertainment. Enjoy! Welcome everybody to episode 5 of Quarantine Talk. I'm your host, Jerry Chan. I'm now at Taipei, Taiwan. My local time is 7:47 p.m. at night. What about you, Alex?
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm in Madrid in Spain, and currently it's 1:47 p.m.
Angie?
Hi, I'm Angie. I'm currently in Newcastle, in United Kingdom, and it's 12:48 p.m.
Xavier?
And I'm Xavier. I'm in Newcastle, same as Angie. It is 12:48 p.m. and it is a bright sunny day.
Nice. Good to know the weather is still good, even though the world is kind of weird right now. So this episode will be more casual. It'll be more free-flowing than serious interview. Even the news round that me and Alex is about to do will be quite lighthearted. You guys feel free to jump in, sort of comment anytime. So do you want to begin, Alex?
Sure. Okay, so I have a headline, and I'm gonna read it out to you. And maybe if you've been paying somewhat of an attention to what's, the main news, you'll be able to guess it. If you don't, it's totally okay. I just want to see what conclusions you draw out of it. But it's make typebot challenge great again. Can you guess what it's going about?
Oh, I think I know.
What is it?
Is it in reference to Trump telling people to inject themselves with hand sanitizer?
Yeah. So on a press round this week, Trump actually made the most stupid comment yet, which it's hard to top. It was hard to top before, and it's gonna be harder to top, but he'll do it. He'll break the record once again, in which he said he and his teams of medics were gonna try to look for a way of fighting the pandemic, the thing. And this would entail putting UV light through the skin, because strong light can push it away, and also injecting or disinfecting the human body. So throughout the whole day, Tide Pods and Trump were trending topic on Twitter. Therefore, make the Tide Pod challenge great again.
Leader of the free world, everybody. I hate that we've reached this point where the only thing we look forward to from the president is what is the next stupidest thing that he said.
That's true. It's really sad.
I just have no comment. I'm speechless.
I was watching like a disaster film last night with my mom. I think like Deep Impact. It's about like a big ass rock hitting Earth, like destroying humanity, and like they're all trying to come up with plans to save the Earth. And I'll be like, that doesn't even look that bad. Like a rock is about to hit the Earth. At least they have like Morgan Freeman as the president of the United States. And like every time something disaster happens, like Morgan Freeman will come out and give a really calming and like relaxing speech. Like, oh yeah, it's bad that we're all going to die, but at least Morgan Freeman's here to inspire us.
And Donald Trump comes on stage and then dumps a whole gallon of oil into the fire.
Yeah.
I do like get that same feeling, like the feeling you're talking about with Morgan Freeman with the leaders from my country, because recently it's been a meme that every few weeks our prime minister will show up wearing a pink shirt and he'll just very calmly, like a grandfather reading a story, just be like, "Hello, Singapore. Welcome to another discussion about what's going on outside. We all know this, and this." And it was really funny because he did that for like, I think 6 or 7 weeks in a pink shirt. And then 1 week, one week, he wore a blue shirt instead. And everybody was on the internet was like, who is that? Who's that person? I've never seen that before in my life.
Amazing.
Bananas against COVID-19.
I love
Yes.
this one.
Yes. What's the news?
I assume that there must be some kind of mineral or substance in bananas that's like quite powerful, and they're saying eat more bananas to increase your immunity or some shit like that.
You're taking the news way too professionally.
Not
guess
that
it's
serious.
more like, my guess is a lot more like hopeful. I was hoping it was something about the number of people baking banana bread to get through this.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Mhm.
But no, it's better.
Wait, so what is the headline actually about?
So, for the past week, a typo from KPRC, a local TV channel from Houston, Texas, had everyone going, well, bananas. And the screen, viewer could see the face covering requirements, which include the legal age, the fines. The news also included the different items you could use: homemade masks, scarves, and bananas.
Literally, I'm just hold on. We'll put a photo of the whole thing in the here when we edit it. But Reddit for this week, it's been just people reacting to that piece of news from the TV with bananas across their faces, typed with like sellotape and American, like it's priceless. It's priceless. I'll send the photo later and we can put it on the screen. It's great.
Amazing.
You
Yeah.
wanna go next, Alex?
For the next one, this is cheaters versus cheaters.
Oh, I know this for sure.
I knew you were gonna know it.
I don't.
Okay.
May I?
Yeah, sure.
I think it was either Apex or Call of Duty Battle Royale, where no, Destiny and Call of Duty Battle Royale, where they started matching people who cheat in the games against other people who would cheat, and you'll only play against other people who cheat until they turn off their software.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For the past year and in January, a lot of news came out that the amount of players that were actually cheating to Call of Duty was incredible. It was over 50,000 players. So Activision, instead of saying, oh, we'll just ban them, they said, we're going to make them learn and we're going to make them experience the exact same thing that people experience with them. So what they do is now their name or username, I don't know if it's that or their IP address gets registered. So when they log in, they'll be moved to another waiting lobby where they'll be matched with other players from the blacklist, if you will.
Amazing.
And they'll just make it's just great. It's just watching the world burn be in front of your eyes. It's just great.
As someone who has like first-hand experience going up against cheaters in Destiny 2, I am thrilled by this news. Let me tell you, I'm so happy.
I think everyone who plays Call of Duty online and stuff, we're all gonna be very, very, very happy from now on.
Here's the thing, I think Activision might have stumbled upon like a potential entertainment thing, because here's what you do, right? You put a 3D camera in that space, watch the players fly about and aim at crazy for nothing, and then release that shit online. People will pay for it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, I think, a really good way of making people realize how bad it is to cheat in those games.
One of my friends, oh, go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, just how irritating it is.
One of my friends, Nathan, actually, like when we were discussing this, he brought up a really good point. They said, why, like, there can't be, what kind of satisfaction do you get out of that, right? Because when you play a game and you're good at it and you win, you get the satisfaction that, yes, my skill and time invested was worth it. But when you cheat and like aimbot or whatever, what's the point, really, right?
I think it's more of like, you know, you're pissing someone off, and that's great.
Yeah, the pro
The
attitude.
teams are there to annoy
Yeah.
the other people. They don't care about the game at all. I see. That's
Yeah.
fair.
So the next news is no pata pata.
Oh, what?
It's great.
How do you spell pata?
PATA.
No pata pata.
Man, I have no idea. Oh, I think I might know. I think I might have a guess.
Ooh.
So I'm thinking pata pata is like a name for the patty cake game, and they're upset that it's not happening because you had to social distance at kindergarten anymore. So kids are sad that they can't play that game.
That was a really good guess.
Uh-huh. So
Oh.
close.
I just want a picture
Spirits.
of like I want a picture of two kids like 6 feet apart pretending to patty cake from that
Oh.
distance.
Xavier, let's do it. Let's do it. Here.
You're here and he's here, so it's not working out.
on my screen we are like left and right, like she's
On my screen, we're like
Yeah.
this.
So
Oh,
Alex is on my side,
You're-
and
yeah.
Xavier, you're down here.
okay, so it has to be like up here.
Yeah, but it's weird because for me, you're here. You're down.
Right, but you're recording from Jerry's screen. So
That is true.
you have to do it according to Jerry's screen.
Yeah, do it up there. Yeah. So yes, it's something similar. I think you can actually, sort of have that game while this song is playing because it's about a song. The original song, Pata Pata by Miriam McBay, which means touch touch, was a hit during the 60s and introduced the pop music in the continent. Now Viennese artist Angelique Kidijio, apologies for the pronunciation.
Butchering the name.
I'm butchering the name completely. Change the lyrics to educate and raise awareness on the actual situations. No Pata Pata will stream in 15 radio stations around African countries.
Jerry, I had to say it was a joy watching you drag that name kicking and screaming to the slaughterhouse and
Especially because she's apparently a very well-known musician. She won a Grammy. Miriam Makeba won a Grammy, and she's
Research. Come on.
That only shows my lack of pop culture knowledge.
she's really big in African culture, and the song. So with the article I took this from, the article finished with a quote saying, "Para Para has always been there for us, so now it can be there for us in difficult situations because it's been adapted to fit."
Yeah. See?
It was really wholesome news. I just liked it when I read it.
This is how celebrities should use their popularity instead of making compilations of singing. That's just my opinion.
Look at what Britney Spears and
Look
Lady
at me
Gaga.
crying about how bad quarantine is in my fucking like what $100 million mansion.
The thing is, like, the difference with the Lady Gaga one is that the musical fest that Lady Gaga was part of was actually there to raise money and awareness on it.
I'm
The global
saying that both Britney Spears and Lady Gaga were doing very, very good things compared to like the other celebrities recording Imagine from their house.
Oh my god, that's my worst
Are you talking
nightmare.
about the global citizen one, the Together at Home thingy?
Yes.
Yeah. A bunch of other artists are in on that as well. I think Hozier, Coldplay,
Taylor Swift, which was very surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Why is it surprising?
That's just surprising because I kind of expected like this stay-at-home thing to. Okay, listen, I'm the kind of person that expects good things like that to always crash and burn. So I never thought that someone who like I had this theory, right? That there are certain celebrities that if they show up to an event, that event is going to go at least smoothly or somewhat entertainingly. So Taylor Swift is on that list along with Maroon 5, and I can't remember who the other person is, but I have a theory that every time they show up, something goes wrong or the whole show goes very right. It's either a 50-50 chance.
No, I mean Global Citizen has done like a lot of stuff with celebrities connected to charities that have like worked out really well. Like the Global Citizen Festival they hold like every year. All the money goes towards charities and stuff, and all of the celebrities are always happy to participate, and you can't actually get the tickets through money. Like how Global Citizen works is like it's a charity and it's an app you download. So through series of like online activism, you get a number of points in that app, in that organization, and then like a certain number of people with this certain number of points will get access to the tickets, like in a draw that wins them tickets. So it's like, I don't know, they just always seem like a charity that's actually done really well when it comes to like merging celebrity and charity work like together. So it doesn't surprise me that this has turned out really well.
Well, I'm glad. Like I feel like at this point in time we really need it. that which shall not be named is kind of kicking the world's ass.
Yeah. So speaking of Xavier's bonkers theories, we have 5 theories right now that's running wild on the internet that I think it's worthwhile for discussion.
My kind of people. Let's go.
This segment is based on the article by New York Post, and there are some bunker theories. It only gets crazier and crazier. So, Alex, do you want to start with the first one? A bioweapon one?
Sure. The first one says that the thing that we're now being subjected to is a bioweapon. Let that sink in. Bioweapon. Now, the article says that it was actually created by the Wuhan Institute of Virology with the Umbrella Corporation, which is apparently a fictional agency from Resident Evil. I am doing an essay on coronavirus, and I've read multiple articles. All of them agree that it's impossible for it to be man-made. Impossible. But yeah, that's the theory. It was created.
Yeah.
To end us.
Amazing. And I love how, I love how everyone just really loves having a scapegoat in all of this. They're just like, we gotta blame something. And obviously, since the virus has come from China, it has to be something malicious. It has to be something like I can't help thinking that if this had all originated from like England or America, like people like this kind of conspiracy theory wouldn't have emerged.
That's fair. No, actually, okay, Angie, let me as someone who loves trawling through these conspiracy theory things, let me give you the lowdown on why people why I think people react this way, especially with conspiracy theories and all that. It's because people are very, 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 very scared, but deep down very, very optimistic. Why do I say that? It's because let's be honest, right? In real life, as long as more than 2 people know a secret, that secret will not be kept. It's true just like that. Because if you have more than 2 people, you can't hold enough what's the word I'm looking for here? Leverage. You can't hold enough leverage over another person, or over more than another person to make them not have the incentive to lie or have the incentive to break your trust. That being said, that's why I think a lot of conspiracy theorists are actually very optimistic people, because they think people can keep secrets. But why people like conspiracy theories is just because they're afraid. And when you're scared, anything that helps you understand a situation will make sense. It doesn't matter that this virus center in Wuhan was originally meant to research these diseases, not create. You can't create a disease by you need more specified equipment in order to create a disease like this. It doesn't matter. None of those facts matters. What matters is the relief that comes from oh my God, that makes so much sense, you know? Yeah, it's that relief that people crave the most.
Yeah, I also think it's also the excitement of, oh, maybe this is the zombie apocalypse, because whether you like it or not, a lot of people romanticize the idea of having a zombie apocalypse. So I think anything that draws near to it, it's just gonna feel that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. We all thought the apocalypse was gonna be cool, but you
Mm.
know, we're all just inside, getting stuck inside and getting fat. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the apocalypse was supposed to happen in 2012. I don't know what this garbage is.
Mm.
I mean, have you seen the
Apparently,
world since 2012?
yeah, that is true. But apparently, I read, and I don't know whether this is true or not, because I thought, oh, it's another, conspiracy, whatever. I didn't bother to fact check it, but I read a lot a long time ago that actually in the Mayan calendar, 2012 is our 2021, 2020 or something like that.
Oh.
I had another. I read another conspiracy theory. Okay, I spent a lot of my time reading conspiracy theories.
Not surprised.
There was one that said that they believe the world actually changed in 2012.
Oh
And
yeah, I've read
yeah, you know the
this.
one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of evidence that says that certain aspects of the world don't make the same sense as they did before 2012. So there was apparently an island in America, like some kind of Liberty Island, that whose geography no longer makes sense because of old photographs not showing where it's supposed to be. So yeah, there is the real possibility that we are not in the universe that we knew before 2012.
Like we're in an apocalyptic timeline right now. I mean, that would explain the Mandela effect, actually.
Yeah, that would explain Trump being president, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about the island is that, tectonic plates exist and
Yeah.
islands move.
Coastal shifts, but
Like, we know that at one point Africa and Spain are actually going to collapse and we're going to actually unite. Like, islands move. That's normal. That's okay.
Alex, really, you're asking Americans to accept the fact that islands move. They can barely accept the fact that brown cows don't make chocolate milk.
That is true. That is very true. Anyway, moving on.
So this conspiracy train is only getting crazier. So next one, I think I like this a lot, and also I'll use this to sort of insert some information as well. So this conspiracy is about Bill Gates. It's about Bill Gates using Corey to install human trackers. So it says the Microsoft co-founder has been the target of trolls and truthers who claim billionaire planned the pandemic for his own gain. Flavors of this one thinks when we eventually have a vaccine to prevent COVID, this thing, Gates will use the opportunity to inject trackers into everyone's body. It says here, Gates gave a speech in 2015 warning there was a deadly virus. It's more likely to kill millions than another global war. A coincidence? Actually, yes. Far from orchestrating the crisis, the tech titan already invested $250 million towards fighting the pandemic. But also, I wanted to put a news just for reference. There has been a news 10 hours ago about Bill and Melinda Gates buying a $43 million Del Mar home. So, he's been doing good stuff, but it's also a good reminder that he's still a very privileged person, per se.
I don't understand why the public idolizes Bill Gates. He's doing the bare minimum of what a billionaire should do, and billionaires already shouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, yes, he does a lot for charity, but I think people often forget that because he owns the charity that he gives money to, it's essentially putting money from one pocket to another.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's just doing the bare minimum of what billionaires should be doing. He's not that bad in comparison to other billionaires, but he's still bad.
Yeah.
Still bad.
I think with Bill Gates, it's a case of the lesser evil or the evil because compare Bill Gates to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, at least Bill Gates is doing something. But I do agree with your point in that, like, yes, Bill Gates, the existence of billionaire Bill Gates shouldn't exist either. Yeah. But back to the theory at hand. No, I don't think Bill Gates wants to track. You want to know why I don't think he wants to track the world? Because he already does.
That is true, though.
It's much easier to just use internet data.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you want to track people more, like with actual taps on them, he'll just change some setting in Google. Like he'll just do it through his own platform. He won't spend money creating another one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
you realize that we are essentially saying no, this conspiracy theory isn't true because we're
it's already true.
of it anyway.
Basically,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is the best way to shut down a conspiracy theory, though, right? Like, this is the only way to make sure the conspiracy theory has no water whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so speaking of digital, Alex, do you want to?
Yeah. So the next one is some people actually blame the 5G towers, the cell phone towers, for causing coronavirus.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Here.
Yep.
Okay. Just I know 5G was, supposedly an invention. Was it Huawei who came up with the idea?
Yeah.
The company, the first one who came with the idea. Right after, Trump was already making plans to deny 5G in the US. So furthermore, how are you going to get coronavirus from just talking through your phone? Like that's just, it's not even on the air. How are you going to get it through your phone? Through speaking for your...
It's the same thing as like chemtrails and water poisoning and all that kind of stuff. Like, even if it is being done on a scale that they say it's being done, we would have seen effects by now.
Exactly.
I don't think, but the 5G towers are so new that I don't think, like, if they did, it would take a lot more time than what it took. So, but Jerry, the context you were asking about is one of the main arguments is tiny radio waves emitted by the towers are causing bodies to become more vulnerable to the virus or even cause sickness outright.
So it's the age old conversation of, Mom, I'm sick. It's because you spend so much time on that computer.
Yeah.
Growing up, it's always been like a weird thing. Like your parents says, like, "Oh, don't put your phone in your pocket. That will cause cancer on you or something." Like, what?
Yeah. Don't charge your phone next to your bed.
But the worst thing about this conspiracy theory is that some celebrities are helping it, are promoting it as well. Like
It's
John
the
Cusack
one mainstream one, because like so many people with like a huge with an elevated powerful platform are just being like, yeah, that's true. Didn't like a 5G tower get legitimately burned down? Yeah.
America is literally on fire right now.
I think there was like a footage of I think like O.J. Harrison, like he posted a video of like people burning down a 5G tower, but turns out it was from the Hong Kong riots. Like it wasn't even like from the same time frame he was referencing, and like I'm not saying people aren't burning down 5G towers, because I think there is probably some people on this planet right now trying to burn down another tower, but I don't think it's as widespreading as people think. Like this is, yeah.
I know for a fact that like capitalism as a culture hates the new thing on the block. So when 5G comes up and like the new technology comes in, the first thing that capitalism is going to do is try to protect the vested interests that are already there. The 4G towers, the previous telecommunications, all these different industries. So, of course, if nothing else, Trump is a very good representation of the base instinct response to a market. If something happens, you can bet Trump is what will be the knee-jerk response to do, because that's all he's done.
Yeah, and not to mention the the China American sort of feud going down, like their trade wars, their current rivalry, and 5G is currently it's currently conducted through Huawei, like a Chinese company, and I think he may be using that to. I don't think his directly is not as obvious as his other stuff, but like some of his supporters or right-wing people are sort of using this, to connect the dots where dots does not even exist.
And honestly, like it's weird to think of how many things like this pandemic is affecting, like in the ways like how some things are being put on pause while other things aren't. Like does anyone know what's actually going to happen with the 2020 presidential race, like in terms of voting and stuff? Because I don't think people are gonna be able to like do in-person voting. And so how are they gonna get the information out to make sure everybody who's eligible to vote can still vote by mail or whatever? Like, it's just.
So apparently, I don't know about other countries, but in the US, because they don't have actual lockdown measures, they won't have lockdown measures on December either, when the election is supposed to happen. So what they're gonna do is that they're gonna open a system where it's gonna be easier to vote by mail. So those who have pathologies or who are older can vote through mail and don't actually have to go to the voting poll stations. Anyone who want to do the voting polls can. In France, the beginning of the year, they had local elections. The government didn't shut them down. They didn't postpone it or anything. They went ahead with them, and people voted. The turnout was way smaller than what it was expected. So I think it will really depend. I don't know if UK has elections coming up, but I know the US plans to do the election campaign mostly through the internet and through like social media and stuff, rather than presidential races in like meetings and stuff like usually you see on the TV. But voting, I think it'll still be mostly face-to-face, like present. Though the mail system is gonna be promoted a lot more.
They're all gonna die over there. Did anybody see the protests they held about the lockdown?
But that's something that it's spreading, because yesterday I read a news that there was gonna be protests in Catalonia in the north of Spain, because people are actually tired. But it's different because we've been here for 42 days. They've been there for a week.
Yeah. Okay, that is fair.
Yeah, it's just
It's still stupid.
It's still stupid, but it's a bit more understandable.
Yeah, I think you have to like
the protest.
Sorry?
How are they gonna hold it? Like, are there any, like, are people gonna be wearing masks or like extra protection? Or
I'll tell you when it happens.
I think there was like a video in US or something, like a guy sort of talking in his like car, and he was like, yes, I understand the government has to like ask us to be home, stay home, do this, to sort of save everybody from this pandemic. But like the issue with America and a lot of countries is that people are staying home without a job, and the government isn't actually giving them like a lot of things to work with, while they're unemployed. So even though I have a lot of mixed feelings about like those like protests in America where they go out sort of with guns or something like that blocking the roads, it's obviously a not very wise decision to do. I can understand the frustration, and those frustrations are being manipulated by politicians, You know, so I think yes, we can blame some people of not being smart in this situation, but at the same time, you know, there is difficulties and hardships in people's lives. Not everybody can work from home, especially in America, where I think 70% of the population works in service, and that's a big population of not able to work physically. You know, so
That's why so many people are filing for unemployment, and unemployment is something that it's becoming a really big issue, and something that Trump has been fighting against since the beginnings of his campaign and his presidency. That's been always one of Trump's main points in his manifestos. And he actually, whether you like Trump or not, he's a really good businessman, and he behaves like one. And it is true that the unemployment kind of went down when he was in office, but because he applies good, put aside Medicare and stuff like that, but he knows how to apply the economical measures. So for now, I think for the administration, not only Trump, but all the people working with him, to see unemployment go up in such a big scale must hurt a lot.
Yeah. I think it's important to, like, while we're talking about conspiracy theory, it's important to sort of, you know, talk to people instead of pointing fingers, because I don't think that's really important. Like, I think it's fun to have fun with a little bit like stupid lunacy theories, but I don't think it's healthy to say, oh, that's that person's fault. That's that person's fault. You know, that's going to get toxic. You know, so back to some lunacy theories, just to lighten the mood a little bit. This one's a bit fun as well. You know, I am a big fan of you know, conspiracy theories. When I was younger, when I was in junior high school, I was reading what was like Dan Brown novels, like Da Vinci Code, which he uses like premise of conspiracy theory to write like whole novels, and I love reading them. But it's all for a little bit fun. Like,
Jerry, you should never give up that part of yourself. Like, going onto conspiracy theory threads and watching them like take that leap of logic from here all the way to the stratosphere.
oh my god.
It is entertaining, especially when you consider the fact that reality is actually a lot more bleak.
Yes.
There's been similar stuff about like the protests going on in Indonesia as well. Not really on the same kind of path, but do any of you know about the May 1998 riots in Indonesia? So it's a series of riots in May 1998, when our economy was really, really bad, where a lot of like the economical problems like unemployment and low income and all of that was pinned on Chinese Indonesians, because, you know, we're foreign. And basically what happened was that it was a series of it was a time where people just started breaking into like the homes and shops of like Chinese Indonesians and robbing them and murdering them. So there's actually been rumors going around because of how bad, because Indonesia, it's such a big country, and there's the wealth gap is so huge, right? That the people who are going to be negatively affected by this pandemic are going to be really, really negatively affected. So there's been rumors that something similar, like riots, are going to happen again. Like people are going to start robbing Chinese Indonesian houses, specifically those of the wealthy. And it's like, I don't know how true of a rumor it is yet, but yeah, there's a whole history of like bad blood between Chinese Indonesians and local Indonesians, which I think is really, really dumb at this point, because we've been around in Indonesia for like forever.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's bringing a lot of bad blood during these times. Like,
Welcome to the roaring 20s, everybody, with a pandemic on the rise, an economy in the ground, and racism everywhere. Lol. Sorry, just one last quick point. Did all of y'all see that picture of the train station in Japan where it was completely abandoned? Everything was and the only thing that was in the station was a newspaper on the chair that had the story of it, like environmental storytelling, exactly like a video game. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
whoa.
It was really pretty, but I think the photographer came out and he was like, "Oh yeah, I set it up and stuff."
Yeah.
Aw, aw. Low-key like
Since we seem to be moving on to lighter topics, I just want to highlight one very funny way Indonesia has actually responded to this pandemic. Do you guys know what a pocong is?
The ghost?
Yep. So this is a pocong. It's a ghost in Indonesian folklore that's basically a dead body wrapped up in a sheet like this. And how it basically moves is it jumps at you.
what?
I love that.
So, you know, a village in Kalimantan, which is one of our areas, has responded to this whole pandemic by putting volunteers in pocong costumes like ghosts and leaving them out in the streets so that anyone who flaunts social distancing rules and goes out, the pocong will start chasing them.
I'm moving. I'm packing my bags right now. That's fascinating. I love that. Okay,
So the government is literally scaring people into staying home.
that's brilliant. I
And
love that.
what's more, the same village has implemented a new rule that anyone who is caught not following lockdown measures and is caught outside and is arrested for being outside, instead of just being imprisoned in jail, they're gonna be imprisoned in a haunted house.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I want to do that. Oh my god.
they actually.
That would work.
Oh, go on, Alex. Go on.
That would work the opposite for me. I would just break the laws just to get trapped in a haunted house. That shit does not work.
I read that they actually like had to set up the entire haunted house and they like created actual partitions, but they did nothing else. They sanitized it and cleaned it, but the house itself is still like haunted as shit. Like there are terrible things everywhere, and they just set it up and be like, yeah, you're gonna get locked up in there. Good luck.
That's, here's the thing. If you actually get trapped in a haunted house for 40 days, you know how much time you get to get footage of actual ghost activity?
Yes.
I need that. I need to be trapped in a haunted house for 41 days.
But like the whole point of it was, after this whole thing is over, right? Will people forget about the cinema in the sense that like, oh, we had streaming services this whole time while we were in this situation, so of course we're just going to keep using streaming services? Or are people going to be like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of these streaming services. I had to deal with them the whole time while I was in this situation. I want to go out and go back to the cinema. I want to see these films again. So I'm kind of torn between the two reactions because I can't decide what people are more likely to do.
If you want more on that, check our latest episode 2, where we talk all about entertainment industry.
Okay, I want to put in the disclaimer that I was not involved in that plug. I was just asking a genuine question, and now I feel betrayed.
Always for the plug.
I hope Hindsight Cinema gets to reopen after this.
Yeah, like I hope cinema survives as well.
I want to say that the Tyneside Cinema is by far the most comfortable cinema I've been to in my life.
Yes.
It is something that it is a cinema that definitely deserves all the support, and given that it's an independent business, it is frankly hilarious and deserving of respect. That is something that is a service that's so well done. So please, if you can donate, make sure that cinema survives, because it's one of the very last few cultural gems that have not been affected by capitalism.
Yeah, but again, if you're not from Newcastle, support your local cinemas. If you know,
Exactly. Yes.
you can.
Local cinemas.
Oh,
I'm actually gonna plug this because this is actually important for people living in Newcastle. The Film Society from Newcastle University is doing collection where they're collecting money to save Tyneside Cinema, which is an independent cinema, little independent cinema who doesn't know if they're going to be able to open up again. So I please suggest and beg you to go to their Facebook at FilmSoc Newcastle University and donate. Whatever you can is fine. And there's cool stuff going on, because today actually we have a pop quiz. So if you've donated, you're eligible to go to the pop quiz, and they have another sort of activities. So if you're concerned about cinemas, donate to your local cinema. It doesn't have to be Tyneside. It can be whatever. Support them.
No, I will.
Walk over.
I'm thinking, you guys know like the 5K challenge that's been going around. That's like run 5 kilometers, donate £5 to the NHS, and then tag 5 people to do it.
Yeah.
So it's a good concept, but I don't know how much I agree with the fact that you would be donating to the NHS, because the NHS is not a charity. The government should be funding it.
Oh, that is a fantastic point, actually.
But yeah, so like I like all of this stuff, like clapping for the NHS and donating to it. I think we should be careful about how we're treating the NHS as this like charity, when we should actually just be putting pressure on the government to do them better. Because the NHS is just being treated like shit.
Here's what I think. Even if the NHS, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not very well versed on the English health system. When you're, first of all, I'm gonna go to the issue thing. When you're clapping for the NHS, you clap for the people who are working at the NHS, who have absolutely nothing to do with the government's founding or Virgin or whatever NHS behind the scene is. You're clapping for those people who are in the front line, who are actually curing people, who they are putting their lives in the line to make sure everyone's safe. So if you're clapping for that. And the problem is when you take that out of context and you start saying, oh, no, you're not clapping for the NHS as an organization. You're clapping for the medics. You're clapping for the emergency stuff. So that at one side, the donations. I think, and again, feel free to correct me, even if the NHS is funded or should be funded by the government, that doesn't mean you don't or you shouldn't donate, because again, the NHS is going to spend that money in things that are going to help you and the medic stuff to be better. So if the government is not helping them, yeah, for sure, address that, fight back, but maybe not now, because right now the focus for the NHS should be to receive money and resources so they can put that in place and help you be better, like help you, get through this whole thing, help get masks, get tests, get the ventilators. That's where your money is going to go, or it's supposed to go. Again, I don't want to talk about what's going to actually happen behind the scenes because I don't know. But when you're donating to the NHS, it's not that you're supporting the government, or at least in my opinion, I think it's far from that. You're supporting actual people who are working there and who are going to spend your money wisely so they can keep supporting you as, a patient there. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I don't want to throw this too deeply into the pool of politics, but I as much as I agree with everything that you say, Alex, yes, about like everything that in terms of where our appreciation should go and where our money should go, you are absolutely not wrong. Every course of action that you laid out makes sense. What I want to say is that as much as I hate it, governments really only ever listen to money. And if they learn that we are willing to donate to help their health system, which means they don't have to divert as much of their own money into it. And if they learn that during this period they can do that, the next time they absolutely will do that, and nothing will help the NHS. So it's a very difficult balance to strike,
That's the thing. Like, I'm surprised people are bringing this issue now, because before I've never heard people complaining about how little the NHS receives. Because if they're asking for donations, that means they don't receive money. And if you want to fight
underfunded before this, very badly underfunded.
They've been very, very underfunded before this. It's just that now it's taken to this extreme situation has really brought to light to everybody how bad it is. So my point, like for example, about clapping for the NHS is that we shouldn't just stop at that. Like, yes, we should appreciate the frontline workers and everything, but all of us should be doing more than just clapping for them, and
For sure.
to really make sure that this doesn't happen in the future, because like if it just stops at clapping, you're gonna get people who are just gonna be like, okay, I clap, that's it, I'm not going to make any more effort into actually trying to make this whole situation better for our healthcare workers. Like,
But that's what I think, like, okay, so you clap, but you can also donate to the NHS. That's where I think that there's a lot of contradicting discourses surrounding this, because if you want to do more, by all means do more. If you don't want to directly donate to the NHS, maybe donate to a section of the again, I'm not sure how it works, but in the United States, if you don't want to donate to a whole hospital, you can go to the cardiac, the heart thing, and you can donate to that section, or I think this whole thing, it's turning against the NHS instead of turning against the government. When you don't donate to the NHS, more than saying the government F you, you're saying NHS F you. That's the feeling that I get from being an outsider and seeing this whole thing development. If you want to fight against the government, by all means, fight away. But I don't think you need to take it or phrase it as if, oh, the NHS doesn't need our donations because it should be the government funding them. While it should be the government funding them, they're not. So they need other type of support. You want to support the NHS? Donate NHS.
I think
what else do you want to do? And then I just think, like, if you want to fight the government, just don't do it this way, and don't do it now, because if the NHS needs donations and NHS needs support, they need it now. So if when all this finishes, you want, or right now, you want to write letters to the government, don't go to the capital right now, but if you want to go to the, I don't know, Downing Street and scream to Mr. Johnson's face, if you give NHS more money, then do it by all means. But I think this is turning into a very ridiculous situation where the medics and the emergency staffs are actually being the ones who are taking the blame and the whole negative thing of this sabotaging the NHS, because that's what it feels like. It's a boycotting the NHS instead of boycott the government, my opinion.
It's worth pointing out that there was, I think it was a demonstration like last week in London on London Bridge, where a lot of people who were supposed to do social distancing and not go out, they went on the bridge and to clap for the NHS in crowds. That's not how you support the NHS. You're only giving the NHS workers more work to do. You can clap at your own house. You can clap in your back garden, but not clap in the most populated area in the city with tons of people where the police has to arrange patrols to make sure everything is in order. That's not how you do it. And also, I agree that I think it's a good thing that this whole crisis is sort of making a lot of people reevaluate the things that public system does, such as NHS does. They are doing a lot of things for the whole, because the medical system isn't supposed to just treat people who paid. They're also gonna treat everybody who comes in with any disease or illness. That's how it works, And the fact that in America there are people who are protesting against public health system, where they should say, everything should be privatized, we should have a choice. Yes, I think a choice is very important to be had, in freer countries. But I think there are some things that should be granted right if you're living in a civilized country or society. And I think there is the good thing that people are thinking, NHS is very important, it's essential. But I think what Alex and Angie here disagree is at how they sort of do it, how people are simply just clapping or they're donating money, but sort of missing the whole point. I think a lot of people are missing the whole, because a lot of people who were, not to name names, but conservative and Tories, they're cutting fundings of NHS, of public system, before this pandemic happens, and now they are saying, clapping for NHS, helping NHS, save lives. Is that going to continue after the pandemic, or is it just going to be like, oh, now that everybody is finished clapping, we're gonna? Yeah, I agree with, like, I think both your points are very valid. I think it's not the time right now to sort of, saying who's responsible. We should fire this person, because regardless of what we think of our current politicians, I don't think it's time for regime change, or like, I don't like Boris Johnson, but God forbid, I don't want to have another election during this time, to see another person coming up who was new to the job and then messing up the whole thing once again. I'm not saying Boris Johnson is doing a good job. He's probably doing a very ineffective job. Let's put it like that. But, this is not the time. We have to deal with casualties. We have to deal with this. We should celebrate good news, but we should also acknowledge there are flaws in our society, in our system.
I just hope that at the end of all of this, all of the people who chose to clap or to donate remember that the NHS isn't a charity, and while it was good that they supported it through this time, I hope that it actually follows through after the pandemic. That's what I'm afraid about, like all of this current awareness and support about how underfunded the NHS is and how much they actually need our help, even though they shouldn't need our help. All of that actually like follows through after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But
may I make a comparison?
Mm-hmm.
So the country that I'm from, Singapore, also has national healthcare, a very, very good system actually, although a lot of people criticize it for certain reasons, and they're not wrong, they're just short-sighted. Anyway, compare the response between the NHS and my countries, where at the very, very start, once we learned about this pandemic, I think the Singapore government gave the healthcare system its entire support. Whatever they wanted, they needed. Every single major space that they could clear as isolation chambers, they cleared it. They gave them the space, they gave them the tools, they gave them the funding. All of this was made possible because Singapore has a very good tax and very, very good like a treasury offerings. Like we have a lot of money in the back store that we can use. The difference between that compared and to the NHS, which was given very, very late to receive support, very, very late to receive a lot of materials as well. The difference is staggering, because politics aside, when a kind of crisis like this happens, the healthcare system needs everything it has. And the road that we took to get here, where some people are helping and some people are not, is sad and unfortunate, but hopefully at the end of this, we will reach a nicer conclusion. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
What is this?
What's this? This spot? Is this like live long and prosper, but middle finger?
In English folklore,
crossing
more than one, like to two fingers, is bad luck. So if you do this, it has the opposite effect. So I don't know what happens when you cross 4.
It just equals out.
Does it? Yeah. Does it, like, what does it do? Does it eliminate the whole thing that it?
Xavier, just to double whammy on that. You're creating 4 pairs of cross fingers, and 4 is an unlucky number in Chinese culture.
So this sounds a lot like a Dan Brown novel. That's why I mentioned Dan Brown. I love Dan Brown, but it's not very. His writing is very just entertaining, but not clever that much. So
it's all over the place as well.
So corny. I'll call it corny for now. The thing that should not be named. I'm gonna change the name every time I mention it, because why not? So corny will usher in New World Order. That's the headline for that. Those who think the country is controlled by a group of
deep state agents are topping the corny up to a government coup. So campaigns like hashtag film your hospitals has led to many to believe that empty waiting rooms and hospital parking lots are proof that the corny is a elaborate hoax. Never mind that visitors have been banned for their own health and those of healthcare workers.
I love how we're doing this after talking about the NHS, because the fact that the NHS is overflowing with people, it's the freaking evidence that this is not a hoax.
Exactly.
No, I'm pretty sure this gets better because I think Jerry left out the part. I don't know whether it's the same theory that I read, but they left out the part that these deep state agents are lizard people.
Oh my god, I love that. That just made the theory way better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're lizard people.
I can't wait for Dan Brown to release his next novel of all about this and then get a backlash and get cancelled, and like I will still pick up his novel just to read out what's up.
Definitely. If he makes a novel,
what about all the Doctor Who episodes that are gonna be inspired by this?
Oh god.
Oh no.
Wait, what was that a negative reaction?
oh no.
I just-
Why?
Because when this is over, I want it to be over. I don't want it to.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
don't want it to become a cultural thing.
I think it is.
Sorry,
because-
Xavier, but I'm pretty sure there are about like 100 filmmakers now, planning their disaster pandemic movie.
Here's the thing, it is part of our history, just as you see tons of movies about the Cold War or the Vietnam War, or you're gonna see a lot of things about coronavirus, but because it has impacted our society in such a way where it's gonna be impossible to run out of it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
I think
Like sorry, yeah, Jerry, continue.
because like I think what is used to be like for example World War II or like big events on the world, there used to be a little bit of sort of time to take some rest, like entertainment or movies won't touch it, but these days
Not with the pace the world moves at now.
exactly there is already a corona v zombie movie existing right now already. I can send you the poster of it. It's a zombie wearing a mask
Yeah.
and grabbing like tissue papers or something.
Yeah.
Saying
yeah.
that, I am running out of toilet paper. So
Man, all of the YouTubers who in the past month or so have released videos about like panic buying toilet paper rolls as if it's original content.
yeah. Well, just like us, we're part of that problem as well. Jerry and I starting all this thing just because.
No, I meant like all the YouTubers who are creating skits about how people react to the thing, and they just show people like exaggerating and panic buying toilet paper, thinking they're being funny when like about 20
it's a
20
real issue.
YouTubers have released like the exact same sketches.
Yeah. I think the issue is like when people parodies things like that, they are also enforcing some stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because like, but at the same time, like we will shame on the internet. We will shame people who go panic buying stuff. But at the same time, like we probably know people who panic buy stuff as well, and I don't think it's completely foolish. There is probably a reason behind it, just like the protests.
I mean, I think logically, in terms of like psychologically, not logically, sorry. Psychologically, it has a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because like people really fear the running out of stuff. Like my mom fears it, and we are incredibly privileged in that sense. We don't panic buy, but my mom starts to get anxious when she starts seeing things missing in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's that feeling of we cannot go outside that much. We cannot, we don't want to because we're all scared of like what's gonna happen because of how they phrase this and how they frame the whole issue. So I think it makes sense. I condone it. Like I don't get behind it. I think it's mean and it's selfish, but I can get why people do it.
There is a fine line between treating it like you have to stock your house like a military bunker and simply keeping your fridge well stocked.
Yeah.
You know, there is just a balance there that
Yeah.
people should just find.
I will say that in the two countries that I pay the most attention to, namely the UK and Singapore, the UK apparently found out that it was just that their supermarkets were not ready to cope with the strain of everybody stocking up. Even if it's just a reasonable amount of stocking up, they just could not cope with the strain. And back in Singapore, the problem wasn't that there were too many people stocking up. The problem is that we live so densely that if even a quarter of the population goes to stock up, right, that is a super spreader event in every supermarket of the country, just like that. So realistically, like the laughing at panic buying is funny and also good because you should not be denying people who need the resources, those resources. But honestly, I think it's understandable and we can move on at this point. We have bigger fish to fry, you know?
Yeah.
I left the best for you, Alex. The best conspiracy theory in this.
And it fits me perfectly. So this is about devil worshippers. Xavier, it's already back in a little bit.
Hi.
I'm reading here. I wish I would have gone down the rabbit hole a little bit more before the podcast, but apparently they're also like connecting it to the shooting in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Scotia.
Thank you. Nova Scotia. You know, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but there was a shooting. It was 20 casualties, more or less, and they're saying that it was the we're sacrificial lambs, basically. It says the coronavirus is already a nightmare, so there's no need to wrap it up with fake government efforts to save the world of devil worshipping sex traffickers who, according to some, work jobs include A-listers like Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks. That's quoted off the Times article.
Wait, what?
Wait. Go back. A Times article?
Well, this is the New York Post. They're calling BS on it. They're not supporting that, but that's how they phrased it.
Wait, so what is the conspiracy exactly?
This is all, we're all sacrificial lambs of devil worshippers.
Because of the virus.
Sure. You know what? Sure. You want that so bad, you can have it.
Why not?
Oh my god.
If someone out there, their brain had to deep fry itself to come up with this theory. And you know what? If they wanted it so bad, they can have it. They can have it.
I have a game I want you guys to play. So I want you guys to hypothetically assume these as what it really is happening and the logistic of how that would happen.
I've got it. This is very easy. Jerry, this is a very easy game. Here's the thing.
Alex opens up her third notebook of doomsday plans for the world.
So wait, what was the question again? Because you kind of glitched out for a second there on my screen.
So what would be the logical logistics of this conspiracy happening? Like, if this is real, how would that work?
All right, Alex, take us away.
Okay. I'm sure you've heard about Pandora's box, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this girl in Greek mythology who opened a box and she left absolutely everything evil out of the box, right? So portal to hell, more or less the same thing. Sorry?
She was told not to open it, right? Someone was like, please don't open this box of very bad things. And then she was like, I'ma open it.
She was I mean, the myth is she was given the box, and the curiosity killed the cat sort of thing. She ended up opening the box, letting all evil out. So they were living in that paradise basically. And she left lust. She let murder instinct. She let kleptomany. Pandemics, everything out of this box, and the only thing that remained inside the box was a tiny little orb like thing that was hope. So she fought against the things with the little shed of light. But anyway, that's Pandora's mix. A portal to hell, it's basically the same thing. When you open a portal to hell, you open Pandora's box. So I think that according to this theory, a cult, very powerful cult, went into someone's basement. I have my sunglasses in my room, Xavier, if you want to go get them.
I'm good. Carry on. I'll get them later.
A very powerful cult must have opened a portal to hell in someone's in someone's basement and let all 2020 out loose.
That makes
Very
sense.
feasible.
Yep.
So
Wearing my tinfoil hat. That, I mean, mythology-wise, that makes sense.
So here's my question, right? So they tied it to the shooting that happened. So I'm guessing that's like the start of the whole thing. So it's like, hey, look at us, we're about to sacrifice a lot more to you, right? So
the shooting thing was because it was made by extremists. I don't know how they're relating that, but apparently they are.
okay.
I am gonna not comment. I'm gonna decide not to comment.
I don't know how they're relating that, but apparently they are. Is all conspiracy theories summed up in one sentence.
True.
Is that the last conspiracy theory you guys have, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you didn't bring up one more. I'll bring up one more later. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But back to the logistics of this whole thing, right? How? My big question is, how do you get the devil or whatever, or to know that each death that happens because of the coronavirus is for them?
You mark
Because
it.
you pray. So, Xavier, you've been living with me for a year and you
I
still
know,
don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, you just do offerings, just as the Greeks or Romans would do. They just do an altar to a god. In this case, it would be the devil. If you consider him a god, I guess. But they just do an altar and offering it. Like, it's hard to explain because it's that kind of thing that you either believe it or not. But just as, I don't know, I guess it's the same thing as when you have the wine and as the blood of Christ and the little thing as its body, I guess. You just pray for it.
Okay, two things. First of all, I want to take a screenshot of this right now and just like, why there's two
Wait.
people wearing sunglasses and not?
Wait.
I have a crazy sunglasses.
There we go.
This can be the thumbnail.
So this is what I wore when I go. This is a skiing.
Please, Jerry, make this the thumbnail.
Yes.
No, that's it. Everybody go home.
Everybody stay still. So I can screen grab a picture later in your coolest pose.
Marvelous.
Oh, that's so marvelous.
So I like the idea that like at some point an audience will see that and be like, oh my god, they're wearing sunglasses, and then click on the video, and for like an hour we're not wearing sunglasses, and then sunglasses. I have to know.
Sunglasses.
I love how you can see a hint of my knee in the frame because I am sitting very bisexually right now.
Oh my god, I see.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the other thing I was gonna bring up, so the other conspiracy theory, right? So it's kind of the same as as the bioweapon one, but so there were two narratives that went down with the bioweapon conspiracy theory, right? Is that one, it was made in Wuhan and it was released by then and all that kind of jazz. So in that narrative, it was the Chinese government was making it to test as a bioweapon and then lost control of it, and now it's spreading. Okay, hot garbage, absolute bullshit. Throw it away. Let me present to you another pile of hot garbage and absolute bullshit. So there's another theory who based their questions, like why they went on this theory, on the idea that, why did the US government suddenly had such a united and ready response to this whole coronavirus situation? Clearly all the politicians must have met up beforehand and planned their response, and they knew this was going to happen. And they tied this to satellite footage of spy planes flying low over China. And they claim that these spy planes released drones. Now, these drones carried the airborne pathogen that infected the pigs and other like livestock of Chinese farms. And so the pigs got infected. And then that was how there was a bigger spread amongst the Chinese community. And this was all a big economic galaxy brain move so that the US could weaken the Chinese economy and move in. Never mind the fact that pigs can't get the virus. Just think about the whole chain of events that led us here.
That is a really good theory to explain swine flu happening in 2009.
Yes.
That is a great theory for the swine flu.
Yes. But unfortunately, none of it is true.
Sad.
Assuming they're right, has the US economy really stepped in the place of the Chinese economy?
That's the best part about this theory, right? This theory was made before it reached the US shores. So it was like, yeah, real funny for you to make that now. I give you 3 weeks.
I mean, it could be that it went out of hand and it reached them accidentally.
Who could have predicted our own populace would be so stupid and want to go out to work?
I mean,
yeah.
Is it a surprise though?
Mm-hmm.
What a surprise! What a surprise that in a world where you could legitimately be denied sick leave even though you are sick and being told to come into work because you genuinely would not be able to afford taking sick leave, that a virus like this could spread so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
my god.
I love
that was a great show. I had so much fun.
Yeah. I think the weird thing about all these theories is only one theory assumes the virus doesn't exist. The other theory assumes it was created by someone else, but only one theory about the New World Order suppose that.
I think that's because it's so difficult to get behind that theory, because you can say like, okay, sure, governments, are shady and politicians do stuff that are, it's kind of like, But why would the media create false, it spends so much time editing footage.
Because it's controlled by the lizard people, duh.
Yeah, but even if the lizard people also would have to edit tons and tons of footage to make you see that the NHS is overfloated, or photos of, parking lots in Spain being up to the brim with
Alex, how could you be so gullible? All those people are actors.
Yeah.
You know, those are all sets that were dressed up.
I
The
don't know
government's-
about you, but I, for one, welcome our lizard overlords.
yeah, like Donald Trump being a little.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Wait, we need to do the
We need to
official.
sign off. We need to do the outro.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's
So-
my first time. Yes, I'll wait patiently for the outro.
Alex, do you want to plug us on our email?
I do want to plug us. We have a Twitter. It's quarantine_talk. We also have an email. So if you're interested in participating in one of our podcasts or writing for us for our blog, it's quarantk. So QUARANTK@gmail.com. The blog is the. This is why I left the flat.
Xavier. Come on.
This is why I'm moving out. See, if this makes it to the actual podcast, people, you need to know. I used to live with that guy. I'm moving out. But yeah, our blog is the quarantine talk at wordpress.com. So yeah.
You know,
I guess that's it, everybody. So each of us will be signing off. I'll sign off first. So bye. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Please check out our website, our previous podcast. We do serious stuff sometimes. We do lighthearted stuff like today. Like last week, it's about environment. It's very, very important, and it's very informative about how to live eco-friendly during this lockdown time. So if you're interested, please go check it out. You know, we have more serious stuff. If you like more lighthearted stuff, we will definitely have more to come. But if you have serious stuff, we will also cover that as well. So how about you, Alex?
I'll be signing off from Madrid, and I'm hungry. But yeah,
Angie?
is that Angie or?
You were gesturing to Xavier on my screen.
Yeah, but mine too.
I'm Angie. I'll be signing off from Newcastle. And yep, please check out the blogs of these people because they are great. You're both like here for me, so I'm just gonna. I don't know if that's actually accurate. Jerry, where should I be? Where should I be?
You're on the left, down
You
left.
should be pointing that way.
Check out the amazing work of these people.
Yeah, and also Angie has a post on our blog post about
Yeah.
about Nest as well. Please go have a read. It's very, very, very interesting, informative.
About teaching.
About teaching during coronavirus, teaching for refugees and asylum seekers. And if anyone is interested in volunteering with us, we do online volunteers, and you would be helping a lot of people. So that's a plus. All right, Xavier, take it away.
I'll point in that direction. That's where you are, Xavier.
Okay. I don't know who this Xavier person is. My name has been Chungus, signing off from Newcastle. And it's been very nice talking with all of you today. I don't want to plug anything. Leave me alone. If you show up at my doorstep, I will kick you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Stay
that
healthy
question.
and read conspiracy for fun, but don't take it seriously. This is bye, everybody. Say bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.